Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the DNVR Rapids Podcast. We're live from Studio B. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, a.k.a. Fantasy Drafter Supreme. Just kidding. It was probably the worst draft I've ever done last night. I'm joined by the fellas. Cowboy Super Yah.
What is up, everybody? Not bringing the energy today, so do not expect that from me today.
I'm going to get you.
I don't believe that.
Riled up.
Telling you guys right now, don't expect much from me today.
I'm going to poke the bear, as they say. Also joining us, to me, the man of the hour.
Hello,
Downtown Duane Brown. And we're going to get right into it since Super Producer Tiff just dropped it in the
It's the only
chat.
horn I had available.
We have some big news for you today.
It's a big news day.
Big news day. Big day for us. We're dropping a new shirt. We got merch. We are a real podcast on the ALLCITY network. Thanks to you guys for showing up, supporting all the time. We dropped a shirt. Up the effing Pids. Duane, this was your brainchild. Well, it was Georgie screaming it into a camera.
Friends, let me tell you, there was a time not too long ago in the very near distant past. It's a lot of words there. Work it out in your own heads as you can. When our new champion, Burgundy boy, Georgie Mihailovic, ran into the line of camera fire and put MLS, Leagues Cup, Mexico, nay, the world on notice with a beautiful saying that you can now wear around town and around the world to let the people of planet Earth know, up the effing Pids. We are not so back. We are here. And now you can be here
With us.
with our first DNVR shirt release. Let's effing go.
Yeah. We were there with Eric at the start, right? When we started the show, the start of the 2022 season. And we wanted up the Pids on the scarf.
Yes.
Right? We've said it after every single show. You explained the importance of that to me from the jump. That's what our phrase is going to be. We're going to lean in. We're always going to say it. And then Georgie grabs the camera and unleashes the best version possible. Like, how are you feeling about it?
My biggest thing is it's just all about growth, right? DNVR and ALLCITY is just an expanding, ever-growing universe. Kind of, we are the MCU of sports, it feels like. We're going to reach every corner. And we're the first market, any sports podcast, any soccer podcast on our network that gets an exclusive show like this. And that just goes to show how much the fans have made this a thing and how much Georgie has appreciated the saying, how much you guys, not just us as a podcast, have a voice in this community. If it wasn't obvious enough with the protest last year, if it wasn't obvious enough with how the coach talks to you guys make an impact. You guys are saying this, not just us. You guys are screaming up the Pids, and people are listening. And this show is just kind of, this shirt is just to I don't even know how to say
Commemorate.
There's what I want to say. Commemorate this special occasion, and it's all thanks to your guys' hard work, Mitch out in practice, Duane designing all this cool shit, us working every night, every Saturday, no matter who's mad, whether we're getting in fights with our wives or not. We're there every Saturday doing it, and you guys are there with us, and we just appreciate you guys completely allowing us to do this kind of stuff for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So jump in ALLCITY. We just launched a new store.allcitynetwork.com. Every single market is in there. It's very cool. So if you are one of those people that is, all Denver except for baseball, you're a Cubs fan or something, you're set, right? Like you're set. So go check that out. There's also a couple new ones that are basically existing shirts, but we did it in
Pids colors.
Pids colors. Thank you. Yeah. We have the Die Hard shirt. That's one of my favorites. It says Up the Pids in there. We have just the flag stack in burgundy and blue. We have this shirt that I'm wearing right now. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Little Buffs Day today. We got Dwayne's No Coast Bias shirt.
Yup.
Yaya's not wearing any gear. Not a company man.
I am not. I'm wearing the underwear though. I'm wearing the exclusive underwear.
The
that
DNVR,
Eric,
with Eric's face. Yeah.
That Eric made for a few people in this company.
No, but you said it perfectly, man. And really, none of this is possible if you guys don't buy into what we're doing, right? If we're not bringing a product worth your time, right, and your interest and giving the love back this way, this stuff doesn't happen. So thank you for spending the time with us every week, jumping into Winners Lounge, jumping into Losers Lounge. All that is the reason that this shirt is here. Showing up at the DNVR bar and filling it like a Nuggets playoff game for Leagues Cup. Like, that's the reason this stuff happens. So thank you so much. We super duper appreciate it. We're probably going to plug the shirt 10 more times this show because it's so sick.
And also for people that want to buy it right now, link is in the comments. It's pinned in our comments. Down in our show descriptions, the link is going to be there as well.
Mhm.
And if you can't find it in either of those two places, it will be on our Twitter.
Yeah, we'll pin
and
it.
with better images, with all high def, so you guys can really look at it. It's worth a buy. It really is.
Yeah, and here's how we get more shirts as we sell this one.
Yeah, so please.
If you like the shirt, it's awesome that you tweet out or in the comments say that shirt's sick. We're glad you like it. It really shows us that you like it. Yeah, I've got a lot of designs. So this is the first one that's coming out through DNVR. This was a collab between me and D-Line to get this one ready. But the way we get more is that we show that there's an interest in DNVR Rapids shirts. So if we sell these, we prove to the higher ups that soccer is indeed a thing in Denver. Denver is a soccer town. And we're going to paint this place burgundy and blue.
Denver is indeed a town.
Man,
It is a town.
Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Seriously, Wisconsin, B-Ray, Crash, Dustin, Mark. Seriously, B-Ray, thank you. Saying that part of my fandom started because of this pod back in, I assume you mean 2022.
Nope, 2002. Before we even existed.
Before I was born.
He had the vision. Wait, really?
No.
No.
I was Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover with the numbers flying around right there.
I'm not Nick, okay?
But
I'm an
seriously,
actual adult.
you are. You're an adult for sure. You're more of an adult than me, that's for sure. But seriously, it's all because of you guys. And hey, buy this shirt.
Yeah,
we'll
buy
make
some
more
shirts,
stuff.
we'll
Not
make
even
hats.
kidding. The only way for us to make more is to make sure this one is a hit. So buy one for yourself, buy one for your friend, buy one for your parents, make them Pids fans.
I'm buying 2 today.
Look at you.
One is going to me, and the other one is
Penny.
going to the person who grabbed a camera and said this quote.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Have
true.
to.
I'm buying 2 today. I'm sending one
Yeah,
over.
screw Penny.
Sending one
Yeah,
over.
Penny, you don't get
I'm
one.
not putting this shirt on my dog.
I
Penny
think that's
doesn't
hilarious.
get no profanity.
Get
on
her
her
a
shirt.
small, let her wear it to the stadium.
That's a smart thing.
She's got jerseys.
I didn't
She's
even
got
think
jerseys.
about that. You're right.
Yeah,
It's
I will
super.
be sending one over to Dick's Sporting
I
Goods
just
Park,
think it's hilarious.
to our guy.
You can just go to practice and give it to him.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Considering all that, thank you, UTFP, all day, every day. We're not allowed to swear this week, so
Or for a while.
get a swear counter on Yaya because I'm sure he's the one that's going to be leading the. he's
I
going to be
made
at
it
the
a
top of the
point.
score chart.
I made it a point not to talk as much for the same
Right.
reason, because I know it's gonna come out every 10 words.
We need a little.
That's why he's in a bad mood.
Yeah, we need a little. What is it on the watch-alongs? Eric-isms on the Avalanche watch-alongs. We're gonna need the Yaya swear counter up top. But yeah, seriously, guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And let's get into some PIDs. Should we get into some actual soccer?
Let's get
Let's
into some
do it.
actual
It's
soccer.
MLS week.
Yeah, MLS is back.
Boo!
Yay!
Boo!
We had a whole bunch of fun with Leagues Cup, obviously, but now the season is back. 8 games left. And I was at practice for the first time in weeks because they were here. They were actually here. They spent, I was talking to some of the staff, and, they all spent like 11 straight nights in a hotel room or something like that, including, a week in LA. And then you fly all the way to the East Coast, and then you're in another hotel. And they were all very happy to be back. Practice yesterday was fun, lively. No Sam Vines, and maybe I think we start there, because I think I was expecting no Sam Vines, but I wasn't expecting coach to say we don't really have a timeline. Obviously, we were all very happy with Jackson Travis in his 20-something minutes in relief of Sam Vines, but are we ready for a lot of Jackson Travis? Maybe 2-3 games of Jackson Travis? Because this is another hamstring. It's not first hamstring. Second hamstring injury on the same hamstring in a season. Scary, Yahya.
It's super scary, but I think Jackson could do it. I trust him. I think he's shown a lot of potential, and there's only one way to see if the kid has it or not, and that's throwing him into the fire.
Right.
He had a great game also against Vancouver, in my opinion. I know that he gave up that goal and he had a little iffy spots, but it's not different from what we've seen from Sam Vines, right? For most of the time in the MLS. I'm more upset because I think Mines was finally kind of getting the hang of it. He was kind of finally hitting his stride. I'm afraid that's just going to hamper his comfortability with the team, everything that's going on. But I'm just not that worried about Jackson. I'm more upset about Sammy more than anything.
Yeah, it's a little nervous. Yeah, he said grade 1, grade 2 hamstring tear. That could be a month. That could be, I wouldn't be surprised if he was playing in the Portland game, right? So it's like, luckily, next week they're off. Get through this Dallas game. A Dallas team that is healthy and playing pretty decently together, has all the pieces together for the first time. So, it's a little scary. Duane, you hate Dallas. So
I do.
I know this is a game you
not
want.
Our friends down at DLLS. Our
Not screw up too.
No, well, yeah, for this week.
They're my buddies.
And the Stars podcast.
Yeah. And the Cowboys podcast. Yeah.
Up with the
That podcast is good though.
Which one?
If you are, I know this is a weird thing for me to even say here in Denver, Colorado,
on a MLS podcast.
Yeah. If you have a friend or a family member who lives in Texas or is a Dallas Cowboys fan, that pod, DLLS Cowboys, is so entertaining.
I think the biggest compliment I can give them is that I think my dad is really going to like them.
There you go. But Duane, your hatred of Dallas.
Outside of the Cowboys.
But hang on.
Holy smokes.
Let me ask you the question, though. Does this Sam Vines injury, this is a game you really want to win.
Yes.
Of all the games.
Yes.
But does the Sam Vines injury change your outlook on this?
No. It's Dallas.
They're like playing very well.
This is like we said in the last show, there's going to be a string of tough games for us to play going into the playoffs. Sprinkled within that group, there's going to be a couple of must-win games because that team is not as good as the Rapids. This is one of those teams. They are a team that's just outside the playoffs, trying to fight for a spot to get in. There is no better time to crush their hopes and dreams of the playoffs than Saturday night with the Colorado Rapids finishing them. Like, that's what needs to happen. I have full confidence that we're going to make it happen. The guys have had a little bit of a break, a little bit of rest to start to recover from this awesome, CONCACAF Champions Cup berth. And now we're going to take it to Dallas. And we're going to say, sorry, you're not getting into the playoffs because you're FC Dallas and Duane has a grudge from like a decade ago. You're losing. You're losing.
Well, we'll get more into the game itself. Talking more about coach, talking about players and stuff. He was very complimentary of Jackson. He is healthy. He's ready to rock. To answer Mark's question in the chat. I have no update on Cabral. Again, I mean, he broke his elbow. So, that's that's going to take a while. I would expect early October, he's probably getting back into training. And hopefully by that, maybe by decision day or the first round, he might be back. But yeah, the team is tired. I mean, Cole spoke first. to also get into Mark's other comment here, it says biggest issue for the Rapids is mental and physical fatigue. Exhausted was the word he used. Or no, sorry, dead. He said we're all kind of dead. And part of that's living out of a hotel room. Part of that's playing 7 games in 21 days. That's a lot of games in a short amount of time. And they don't really rotate the squad.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that has to happen here, don't be surprised if they play like a back 5 or something, especially with Vines out. Maybe they do maybe like Michael Edwards, Lawless, and Maxu, and kind of let Jackson be more of that winger and push up, get a little bit more of that rotation from the back, and get that attack from the back as well. Don't be also to be shocked if they try to go with a little bit more of a park the bus strategy for this one and think they can get them on the counter. You've seen it worked against teams like America. You saw it worked against Toluca and Leon. A little bit more higher-powered offense, but Dallas also has a lot of talent on that front end with Ferreira. And was Ferreira back yet?
Yeah.
Okay, Ferreira.
Yeah,
and,
they're loaded up top now.
And Musa.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if they kind of play a little bit more defensive-minded, especially away, and try to get them on the counterattack. You've seen they're a lot more dangerous when they do that. They have the speed. And Rafa's also just a workhorse. Yeah. So don't be too shocked if they just kind of drop back a little bit more. And it's going to be part of it, right? Because of the exhaustion. They don't want to run all 90 minutes because they've already ran so much.
Right.
You don't want any more injuries that can hamper the season going forward in the MLS Cup right around the corner.
To me, I'm thinking, one, I like your idea. Maybe get Edwards in there. You could also slide Keegan in and put Seb next to him if you wanted to go 5. But the biggest thing you're changing is Jackson's going to play a lot of defense. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be pushing that front line like Sam is. Getting those left-footed crosses in from dangerous spots, being the guy pushing up the left. But what I do think is that might push Cole out wide, because he talked about being a winger with the 4 midfielders playing. He kind of gets up to that left wing. And I bet you it's Ollie, Ronan, Georgie, and Cole on that team sheet to make up for that lack of offense on the left.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't be shocked that we don't see this from Jackson Travis. You saw it a lot last year. He was the Sammy Vines of that team last year, and Rapids too. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's an offensive force going forward, especially because I know that he does have it, and he's a pretty quick little guy. Like he does have a little bit of that. Hey, I'm gonna just sneak right by you, and you're not even gonna notice where I'm at.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot to be in. I think Jackson has done more than enough to prove that he can hang. Right, Sam had that knock. Jackson started in the draw at Miami. Right, I mean, he's been in some big games. There's a lot of big games left on this schedule. I mean, I was talking about how I thought after 4th of July the schedule got easier. That's when I didn't realize that some of these teams are going to be pretty good. Right, you still have Galaxy at home, Portland at home, Dallas away is not going to be easy. That's always been a tough game. In August, right? I mean, it's like Dallas in August is sweltering. So, overall, the message from the team, they're tired, but they're locked in, they're focused, they're happy. But they're certainly not settled. They're not like, cool, we made CONCACAF, season's done. They're going to win. That's the mindset from Chris Armas. It's been the mindset from Chris Armas the entire time. He's stayed on brand the entire time. And I'm expecting a pretty good game. And we'll get into that on the other side with some big questions for the remaining MLS schedule and some Dallas preview. But first, we got some housekeeping to do. Shout out to our friends at Toyota. They are the official vehicle of DNVR, which is, to me, pretty rad. I mean, come on. We have an official vehicle. That's about as legit as it gets. It doesn't get more legit, guys. That's like, what else could we get official? We already have vehicles. Can we get like official planes or something?
Man, I want a helicopter.
The official helicopter of ALLCITY.
Make a helicopter.
But for now, we have our friends at Toyota, and Toyota is perfect for Colorado, just like DNVR. If you need a Toyota truck, whether you're hauling equipment for your work, or you're hauling a bunch of camping gear up to the mountains, or a trailer, or you're trying to hit some 4-wheeling, they got it for you. The Toyota DNA is trucks, and they have durable legends built for greatness, whether that's the 2024 Tacoma, whether that's the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck, one of 16 hybrids to choose from, or there's the Land Cruiser. You can get into the all-wheel drive SUVs. You got the 4Runner. I mean, we've all seen the Rapids 4Runner, the Wrapped 4Runner. It's about as cool of a car as you can possibly have. I want to drive it. Please, Rapids, let me drive it.
Or have it.
And then you have other SUVs that are perfect for the city. I have a Highlander, the new Grand Highlander or the RAV4. They're perfect for the city and they're perfect for the mountains. It's all around the right way to go. Visit your Frontridge Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR. We are also brought to you by DNVR events, starting with a big one today. That's right. Buff's Tailgate #1 is today. We are behind the old Harpo's Bar. We have a massive lot, 28th and Arapahoe. It is huge. It is a huge lot. We have parking. We're gonna have Illegal Pete's catering today. We're gonna have Breck Brews. We're gonna have Breck Distillery. We're gonna have all sorts of stuff. And we have season passes available. You can save a bunch of money on the season pass just by coming to the 6 tailgates we have set up. So check that out. We also have Broncos tailgates. Season passes available for that. We already did our preseason dry run. It was a great time. We had almost 100 people show up to that. It's only going to get bigger and better as Bo Nix shocks the world this year. Well, maybe.
Both the truth. No, both the truth.
More importantly, Rapids takeover on the 14th. The next home game for the Pids versus the Portland Timbers.
Big one.
You hang out here at the bar. You jump on the bus. You have your wristband already. You walk into the tailgate. You get beers. You get dev dogs. You give high fives. You hang out. You vibe out.
Dev dogs.
You go into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the Pids get some revenge, hopefully, on this Timbers team that has owned them all season. And then you take the bus back. There's a drone show. Oh, thank you, Tiff. There's a big time drone show afterwards, the one that got rescheduled because of weather. And so this is going to be fantastic. Oh my God, look at Dev Dog himself.
Dev Dogs.
The hot dog king of Commerce City in the chat.
I summoned him with my whisper spells.
I love his username though. Devin Whittick. Parentheses Devin Whittick.
Dev, you're the man. Thank you. He have the dogs ready. So get your tickets now. All of that stuff and more.
If you buy your shirt today, you probably will get the shirt for the takeover.
I cannot guarantee that, but it's
maybe
possible.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
About
If you
2
want
weeks
an Up the Pids scarf, just shoot me a DM. I'll bring it to the tailgate and sell it to you there.
Yeah, you could if you could get really lucky, and if you order it right now, about 2 weeks, you might get it in time for that takeover, which is going to be a good time all the way around.
Don't yell at us when it doesn't happen.
Yeah. That's a. I don't want Yahya promising.
No,
that,
I'm
'cause
not promising. I said it could. It
could.
could get here if you
Correct.
order it right now.
Yeah.
Limited time offer. Go get it right now for the exact same price you would order it tomorrow.
Correct.
You might get it for might get it for the takeover.
Absolutely. So all that and more at thednvr.com/events. Check it out. All right, we're back. DNVR Rapids, hanging out with the fellas. It's Mitch. It's Yahya. It's Duane. Super producer Tiff hanging out on the ones and the twos. And, we just took a nice long break from the MLS season, right? The last MLS image in my brain of the Rapids is winning the Rocky Mountain Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Is Chris Armas being a total dork and running around with the trophy and waving it around.
Love it.
That was the last time Moist played there. Do you remember that? That was fun. He was in that game.
Didn't he also play the Portland game though? Or was he already out on that one?
I don't remember.
I'm wondering.
I tried to block out that Portland game. It was bad.
Yeah.
But Cole Bassett scored the winning penalty late in that game. And it was epic. But now we're back. We took a month off. Leagues Cup was great. So here's my first big question. Whoever wants to go first can answer first. My first big question is, does this Leagues Cup run change the MLS outlook for the Rapids?
Yes, in a different way than most people I think expect.
Okay.
And I don't even think it affects the Rapids as much for MLS Cup, but their transfer window.
Mm-hmm.
They have to reinforce their whole team, right? And they're gonna go up. You saw how exhausted they are. If they really want to make a run again in Leagues Cup next year, if they really want to do something in Champions and even compete in the MLS Cup, and they might even qualify for U.S. Open Cup, depending how things shake out here. That's 4 tournaments right there. It's gonna be. They have to go into this transfer window with a little bit more of a, hey, we need to make depth the number one priority in who we bring in, and let's fill in the holes in places that we need to get stronger.
Yeah. Duane, what do you think? Does this change your MLS outlook for the team?
I like Yaya's point. I'll speak to a different point. I think what we learned is that this is a pretty good tournament team. And the playoffs are just a tournament.
That is a good point.
So we just have to get a tournament berth, which right now we have. So we get into the playoffs, the MLS season is over, and now we're in the MLS playoff tournament. The MLS Cup tournament is what we're in. And this is a good tournament team. So I think that is a really good little nugget to take away from the Leagues Cup is just how this team plays in a quick turnaround tournament style of soccer. And that's good news for the playoffs.
MLS playoffs literally took an international break in the middle of the playoffs last year. So not too quick of a turnaround. They'll have plenty of time, but I do agree. I don't know if this changes anything for me about the next 8 games. Right? But I do think it gives you some confidence in the knockout rounds, like Duane said.
Especially if you can have some more games at home, if you can secure that home playoff, at least at the beginning, it's going to be really, really helpful.
Big time. Which brings me to my next question. Zack Steffen. How much, because we've seen some bad games, right? Like we've seen some high score lines from other teams, from other big playoff teams. Mm-hmm. But we also just saw him shut out Club America, beat them in PKs, win 3 shootouts in a tournament. How have your feelings about Zack Steffen changed?
I think it just comes down to more trust in the back, right? It's just you trust him a lot more than you did at the beginning, especially when going all the way back to the first game of the year where he gave up 4 goals against Portland as well. And about 2 or 3 of them were on him. It wasn't just the defense. I think I'm more excited for Zach, but I'm also a little bit more terrified because against MLS teams, the Rapids have struggled a little bit more in against more competitive competition. Looking at Galaxy, looking at RSL, Portland, looking at LAFC, it's a different kind of atmosphere than going against Mexican teams. It's a different level of attack, quicker, faster than what Liga MX teams are doing. But I do trust him if it gets to a situation where he's your last line of defense. That's the guy that you are putting your whole game on.
Duane?
Yeah, I think what's important is that high pressure games like these tournament games, especially going into first fighting to get through regulation and then going straight to kicks, is a lot of mental pressure, and a lot of the problems that, a lot of goalkeepers have, it's mental and trying to overcome that. Like these are pro athletes. It's not always the physical thing. It rarely is. A lot of it is head games. And I think Steffen is in the zone right now and, working with the coaches, he's in a mental place right now where he's on. Right. Like he's hitting his stride right now, and this is a good time. So, there's some real tough matches coming up down the stretch here, and it might be just awesome games for Steffen to really shine and continue to not only put MLS and Liga MX on notice, but U.S. men's national team. We all know what his goal is. Yeah. And so this is just more opportunities over and over again for him to send out messages over and over. He's been super consistent. There's not, throughout that tournament, there was not up and down games. It was very consistent. And I think, hopefully that consistency continues to show forth through the stretch here.
Yesterday at practice, there was some TV reporters were out there.
Ooh.
They don't spend a ton of time there. I'll say that. Look, I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to take any shots because I get it.
No, we appreciate them out there.
But the fact that you came out, great. You've jumped on. I love that. But what they tend to do, especially when they've been around, is ask some very questions that we've already asked 9 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago, right? But sometimes because we've already asked it, we don't want to ask again, and we kind of get more informed answers, right? And so there was a question posed to Zach, and it was, sort of, you didn't play much. You came over here, expectations might have been kind of low. What is it that went from that to keeper of the tournament, right? And his answer was simple. He's like, I didn't play for 9 months. I didn't play for 9 months. I moved to a new league. I moved to a new country. Well, new old country. And now I've played for 6 months and I feel pretty good.
It makes a big difference.
And it makes a big difference.
Huge.
And so the one thing I'm most excited about pertaining to these last 8 MLS games is Zack Steffen. Because I do think it's a different Zack Steffen than we had even in Rocky Mountain Cup finale.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a confidence builder for sure. That's all it is, really. It shows that you can go up against top tier talent. You are on that level as well. And I think that's the most important thing for Zach, that in his mind, how Duane said, the mind games are kind of over. He feels like he's on top. You kind of block out that LAFC game. They're just a completely different beast. But you kind of do come back to that Philly game and say, hey, I played well. It was kind of one goal that I think was just a good goal in that header, and the other one that was just kind of a messy in front of the box kind of thing that Zach couldn't do much about.
Right.
And then you go out there and you block 2 out of the 3 penalties they take, or 4.
They took 4. 2 were a block,
4.
1 was a miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You block 2 out of the 4 and 1. You kind of scare them into missing.
He got his hand on the third, on the one that went in.
Exactly. It
gosh, he's so freaking good.
It just builds so much confidence for the guy, and it's all trust going forward.
Absolutely. Here's my next big question. Cabral obviously hurt. We've seen a lot of rotation out there, but a guy named Calvin Harris scored a pretty big goal on Sunday. Can Calvin Harris be the offensive spark this team needs?
I mean, he has all year long. That's Duane's guy right there.
Love him.
That's the guy that I think should be starting opposite. For the longest time, we saw him and Cabral run the tables in the league, and then all of a sudden you started getting a lot of rotation. But then you just stuck with that rotation instead of getting Calvin back in there. And I think that's where the Rapids offensively struggled the most, when Calvin wasn't out there. I think if you put him out there with J. Lou, Omir, or anything like that, it just helps a lot more in creating a different element of speed that I don't think that Omir can bring, or even J. Lou at this point can really bring.
Yeah, he is up to, I believe, 9 goal contributions across all comps, right? I don't know specifically his MLS, but I know he's at 6 goals. 3 assists in all comps. If you get a 10 goal contribution, that's more than I expected from any of the wingers this year, including Cabral. Right? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like I didn't even expect Cabral to be pretty good, and he was pretty good. But now he's hurt. You need somebody, and Calvin Harris, international superstar DJ / Colorado Rapids winger, has been pretty awesome, Duane, and that has been your guy since last year, really.
Yeah, since he joined up. Look, man, I love all these guys. When it comes to our guys' draft, like, those are the guys you really pick that you really, jumping behind. Calvin Harris is one of those guys for me. I think he last year was a guy that didn't get used enough, didn't get enough minutes that I thought he deserved. This year, I still wish he had more minutes this year, even though he's getting a whole lot more. But things change when Calvin Harris is on the pitch. As a starter, the team starts off well. You saw a couple of games ago where he was subbed off towards the end of the game. The energy 100% shifted back in the Rapids' favor. You had some more speed down the side. Calvin's good at getting the ball in. He's good at breaking ankles. I mean, he's had 2 games in a row of just doing that cutback and just watching a guy fall down. That's hilarious. Like, that's just fun soccer. Like, that's what we've been wanting for years, is just some dudes to go out and show up. And Calvin Harris has been that guy. Like, he's he's pivotal on that wing. And he makes goal scoring chances and opportunities arrive. Whether he's the one who's bringing it down the side, and then, shooting it over to Hafa or whoever's open, or if he's cutting in and playing the Armas system of that inverted winger, and where, all of our guys crash the middle, he's in there. And he's got the foot skills to get around guys. Like, he's not like we saw in the past couple of years where we have a Rapids player who either freaks out and doesn't know what to do with the ball, or, you've got a Nicholson who's just like, screw it, I'm just going to run into this guy and see how many dudes I can run through before the ball gets away from me,
hockey
which is fun.
Yeah.
Like, again, like I love Sam's version of that. But, this is a guy who plays with finesse, has a beautiful touch on the ball, and has an eye for the goal. And that's what we've been wanting as a winger. Like, we've been crying for that. And we had him already. And now we've got a coach who's putting him in there and giving us what we already know we had.
Yeah, and it does feel like Calvin is the most natural right winger we have on the team right now. Everybody else, like from Omir to Lewis, Cabral, Cole. Even Georgie and Cole, love dominating that left side.
Yeah. We overload the left side most games. Yeah.
And that's usually where they're most comfortable, playing on the left side. Even with guys like Sammy, who are the ones pushing everything up during the season, like, that left side is super congested. That right side with Calvin just feels a lot more natural. He feels comfortable more than anybody else on the team, really. And I think that's the most important part about it, that he does just like that area more than anybody else. And also, like, I wouldn't mind seeing him as a striker, maybe as a double striker. He's been, last game, they kind of shifted to a 2-striker during the game, and you saw Calvin kind of pushing a lot more towards the middle. And I think that helps Rafa out a lot, because that gives Rafa more space on the other side. And Rafa can kind of move around and figure out where he's going to work the best. Yeah. And I think that's the most helpful part about Calvin, that he is such a fluid player throughout the game.
Yep. I got one more big question, and maybe that can lead us into our Dallas preview on the other side. But first, we have to take a very quick break. All right, we're back. DNVR Rapids.
What a quick break.
I know, very quick break. We don't have a lot of reads today, but we do have the manual ones for later. Here's my next big question, guys. Calvin, he seems to be kind of a starter, right? We can kind of pencil him in, whether it's in that starter or heavy rotation, right? Mm-hmm. But who is the player? We know Georgie's going to do it. Yep. We know Cole's going to do it. We know Zach's going to do it. We know Hafa's going to do it. Who is the player that needs to step up their game the most from where they were to where they need to be to maintain form and keep that home playoff spot?
Duane?
Oh, gosh. You're starting with me?
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I have go for it, please.
So one player that I think needs to really step up, and it has nothing to do with what he's done at the beginning of the year, it's going to be Cole Bassett. I think Cole's level of play dropped a little bit during Leagues Cup. Yeah. He looked exhausted. All that running throughout the year finally caught up to him, and you can really tell. I think he needs to find his form once again, why he had maybe like the last 10 games before Leagues Cup, and kind of get back to that and kind of give that little extra push, because the Rapids are their best when they are dominating that midfield, when they are dominating the pace of play. That's when they really thrive. Getting the ball to Georgie, it's just key, and it's usually Cole that gets it to him. It's usually him being the guy that progresses the ball with the ball at his feet and then finds that key pass to Georgie, and Georgie does his work. It's really important for Cole to get back to that and even push it a little bit more, just for that one reason. And him retaining the ball has to be something he has to work on quite a bit, because he lost the ball very quickly against LAFC, against Toluca. It was another game that he seemed to be struggling with keeping the ball. I think Cole's going to be the biggest key to this team making any noise going forward.
He didn't score in that tournament. He assisted. I don't think it was all bad. But he hasn't scored since Rocky Mountain Cup.
Yeah.
And, for a guy like Cole, I think he's at his best when he's contributing on the score sheet. And You know, he might be running around nonstop, and he might be, he might be tracking all the way back on defense, and he might be doing all this. But when he's that late arriver and can bang in a goal, that changes not just how the Rapids play, but it makes him a better player. It makes him when he's run a little more, and it makes him, work a little harder. So hopefully he gets back on the sheet. I think that's a great call. Duane, you're up.
I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Because my answer is dependent on what you say.
Really?
Yeah, because I have two, but I think you might have one.
Interesting. I'm going to go with a guy that Mark just said in the chat. I'm going with Connor Ronan.
Oh, well, I was wrong. I still have
Connor Ronan was maybe the best player on the team last year. Now Cole led the team in scoring, but Connor was kind of the engine last year.
Yeah.
And this year he has not had to be even close to the engine, right? And I don't know if that has put him into a weird headspace, or he's just not sure what to do all the time, or whatever that is. But we've seen him when he's at his best, and he's found this new role in Leagues Cup where he's the deep lying guy. He drops back to the middle center back spot to be the outlet, to be the offensive reset. And if that is as effective as it looked in those few games where he was able to do that, I think we get a whole new Connor Ronan going into this last stretch. I mean, to me, it's kind of the perfect spot for him, which is funny because he's 5'7", 8 on a good day.
5 foot something.
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy, but he's found
5 foot nothing.
Yeah, he found
not that.
He found some dog. And he's found a playmaking role where Cole took over his spot, right? And that's by design. Cole's doing great in that spot. But how can we help Connor Ronan be the playmaker we know he is? Well, add him to that back row, right? Like chain those guys together where it's Ronan to Cole to Georgie to a winger or Hoffa, right? Boom, 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 boom. And instead of trying to find a spot up in the midfield between Georgie and Cole, it just didn't make sense. So if he can find some assists, really help that back line distribute from the back and help Zack Steffen distribute from the back, and not get these bad turnovers, right, that lead to the bad goals in transition. I really think Connor Ronan is going to be a critical piece to the stretch.
Man, I was totally wrong. Thinking you might go with this one. I have two, but I'm going to go with the one who's on the field more. It's our striker.
Yeah.
Like Navajo has to start scoring goals again.
Yes.
That is the number one key if we're going to continue our winning ways. MLS regular season games don't go straight to kicks. That strategy is off the board now. Like, we can't survive a game and then rely on Zack Steffen to, carry us through another shootout. Goals need to happen in run of play. We can't rely on PKs like we did at the beginning of the season, and we can't rely on, post-game PKs like we did in League Cup. This is a squad that needs goals again. Goals need to start happening. We've not been scoring a lot of goals in run of play or in regulation. If we are going to continue to be fourth place or even higher in the standings as we push towards the playoffs, goals have to happen. One person has been signed to specifically score goals, and that is Hoffa Navajo, and he has got to start scoring goals again. He is great on the ball. He does great. He would make a fantastic winger because of what he does with the ball and helping other people score goals. But he's not. He's the 9. So we need to get the ball to him, and he needs to not be so much the playmaker, but he needs to be the goal scorer. That's the biggest change for me running down the stretch.
Absolutely. And as they figure out if they're playing all 4 midfielders or if they're playing 2 wingers and Hoffa, you really see his positioning on the field change. When you have all 4 midfielders, Cole will drop from that left side back. Hoffa will kind of take that left spot. And you saw that in that opening goal against Philly was the Georgie one-time pass up to Hoffa, one-time pass to Calvin, one-time shot for a goal, right? And so where can he fit in? How can he play off of the guys who have to fill in for the Cabral injury, right? Can he find the right positioning? The work rate's not going to stop. Right.
Yeah.
So just put him in the right position to succeed.
Yeah.
Because he's going to work his ass off.
Yeah. And Duane's
Butt
completely
off.
right.
Sorry.
Like Rafa had.
It's not a work rate thing. Like that dude balls out.
Yeah, it definitely isn't, and you kind of saw it too. You saw it a lot during Leagues Cup, right before Leagues Cup. I mean that Portland game in Leagues Cup where he had those opportunities and he just missed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that it can't happen anymore. He needs to take those opportunities and get the ball at the back of the net. He did have a goal in this Leagues Cup, but it also feels like mentally he's a little off right now.
Yep.
I don't know if it's he has the pressure of that tag now of the DP that's looming heavier on him now because he's officially a Rapid, not for life, right? Not a lifetime Rapid, but he's a Rapid at least for the foreseeable future. And that TP tag around the league and within the team puts a lot of pressure on a guy. And it feels like that's looming heavy on him. Maybe getting a goal or two would get him in a better position, but you just can't miss the opportunities you do have. It's also on Georgie and Bassett and Ronan and Ollie to get those opportunities to him, where I think they've also been lacking quite a bit. But the chances he has had, he's also not been very good at them.
I think that, I don't know. I'm not going to say it because we like as a for sure thing, because we still have some time to really see it play out. But I'm wondering if Chris Armas, who is the master of the vibes, right? Like he is truly the vibes king.
Mm-hmm.
But subbing out Hoffa right before the PKs, which was clearly because he has missed some PKs.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 86th minute. What is he, too tired to play 6 more minutes? You know what I mean? 7 more minutes. I wonder if that is a negative chalk mark on the scoreboard for Armas's vibes, because I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. This is the DP score. This is the club record signing. He's the guy.
I love it.
You think it's?
I love that move by Armas.
So you think this is a motivator?
No, I just think it's good coaching. Like if a guy,
Yappy's never taken a penalty before.
Well, then he's never missed a penalty either.
All right,
but when your data is there that you have an unknown versus a guy who's proven to be not so great at it currently, I'm not going to go with the guy who's not so great at it currently. So to me, I loved that move because it's Armas saying like, we're playing to win this game right now, and we didn't win it in regulation, so now it's going to kicks. I need to make the best move and put the best, personnel out there, players out there that's going to bring home the win. So I'm fine with that, but it's also PKs. Like I don't want Hoffa signed as a DP striker for PKs. Like I don't really give a crap if he takes PKs or not. Like I want him to score bangers like during the game. Like that's why everybody wanted him to be signed. Like that's why this DP9 that we've been clamoring for like 10, 15 years, like, we finally signed him and everybody was on board, give him the bags. And he got them. And it's like, since then it's dropped off a bit. So I'm ready for him to start scoring goals like in the game. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's a motivator or not, or if it's a little bit of with Hoffa. I don't know. He seems like you can see it on his face when he's upset about things. So it probably did hurt his feelings a little bit to be pulled off of that. But again, I'm not Hoffa. So shit, what do I know? It's like,
don't admit to that on the podcast.
But I want Hoffa to be like super pumped about scoring goals in the run of play and just making beautiful. I mean, he makes all these beautiful moves on the field. And I want the end of that move to be the ball in the net. And I think if Hoffa gets on a roll with that, like it's going to go bananas. Like that dude is going to absolutely go off.
He was upset about the miss against America.
Yeah,
he was the only one that missed. And it was a good penalty. It was an elite save. It was like a really good save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And
but
so
he wants to win. Like he's a winner.
But kind of also like both of you are right here. Like Armas did do that move and it does mess with a guy's psyche a little bit. Like, does it not trust me anymore? And it is like, am I thinking about this game right now or am I thinking about the striker going forward? But it's also like, hey, I'm trying to win a game. So it's a delicate balance that Armas really has to manage there. And maybe it's like you put Hoffa at number 5 and hope for the best, right? But it's also like if you miss, you lose the game. If it goes a different way in those PKs. But it's also, we got to give Hoffa a little bit of leeway. Not a lot, because he is already top 10 in a season scored. Like, he is already, like, with 11 goals in MLS. That's not even counting Leagues Cup. He's already top 10 in Rapids history in a single season scoring record. And we haven't had this much goals since Rubio about 2 years ago. And we haven't had this much success in this much goals since I don't know when. Like, I can't even think of another goal scorer we had that's been this prolific and has been this good besides and actually have a winning season in such a long time. It's a rarity for the Rapids. And I think we do have to enjoy it a little bit as we go through it. Because besides the goal, he does have like 9 assists, 20 goal contributions right now.
Yep.
And goals are coming from other places. Calvin scored. J. Lou has like 4 goals in MLS. We have Georgie. We have Cole have also scored. So you're right. Like, Rafa does need to be better, and he can't miss those opportunities that are super glaring because he's right in front of goal and he's still missing them. And that's what he has to capitalize on. But it's also, you do have to give him a little bit of like, hey, it's your first full season and you already have 11 goals. And that's a little bit of credit that he does deserve, especially with the assists coming as well. It's not just him scoring. It's him being a part of a machine in what he's creating for others.
And maybe being the most effective defensive striker in the game.
Yeah, and maybe, especially. And then not just that, like, that work effort you're talking about created that goal for J. Lou against Juarez. His work without his work rate or that assist against Philly, you don't tie that game up. You don't go up. There's things that he's doing. He just needs to capitalize on those opportunities, how Duane is saying. Like, it's a lot of missed opportunities, and I think that's where it really hurts because they're wide open opportunities. They're not just, he's not scoring bangers, but like they're wide open. And I keep going back to that Portland game where he was right in front of goal and
missed.
He launched it as hard as he could right at the keeper. That's what can't happen anymore.
So 6 goals ties the single season record. We thought it was a lock.
I thought he already has 11, so isn't it 5?
Sorry, 5.
Mm-hmm.
Ties the MLS single season record.
Yep.
5 and 8.
A bonus question coming.
5 and 8 ties it. 6 and 8 sets it. Can he do it?
I think he will.
I do not.
I think he ties it.
You think he ties it?
Yeah.
So we'll have a 3-way tie of Casey, Rubio, and Hoffa.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think there's 8 games left. I think the Rapids score 16 goals.
I think more
2
than that.
goals.
I'd put 20.
Let's say 16 between 25. Kind of, it's the range. It's kind of Rafa being the strikers. I think he can get 5 more.
A quarter of those?
Yeah,
basically.
Can he get 5 more?
Yeah,
I think it's a numbers game. I think he's gonna have the most opportunities.
Let's hope so.
I want him. I don't want him to tie. I want him to get it. I'm just not feeling super confident.
I want the hat trick because I want Wanderers to shave his head.
Because
I'm never gonna forget that. Shout out to our guy Wanderers.
He's getting 3 hatties. In the chat.
Also, he's shaving everything.
Yeah, real quick too. I want to do this hashtag Matthew had. It's a hashtag Rapid for Life for now, which I thought was hilarious.
That is so good. Shout out Matthew, man. I love that. That is so Rapid for Life for now. Yeah, until he will.
Rafa was also the leading scorer for the Rapids in Leagues Cup with 2 goals.
That's a crazy stat.
So
that is crazy.
That's a lot of games for our top scorer to only have 3.
7 games and 302 minutes.
Yeah.
2 goals every 30 minutes. A goal every 0.29 minutes.
We have about 5.5 minutes left. I'm gonna kick it to our MLS expert here. Cowboy producer, super. Yeah.
Man, I can't.
Dallas.
I can't really speak on what Dallas has been doing. Since they kind of been off the playoff radar for the Rapids for a little bit now. I haven't been so focused on them. But how I was saying earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rapids kind of drop back a little bit more. And it's more about energy levels, trying to not push them too hard, because you also don't want any injuries that go forward. I think Calvin's going to be the key piece to the game, because if you are going to be dropping back a little bit more, playing defensively, having that speed at the other end that you can counter, be quick, and get across the pitch as fast as possible, is going to be an important piece. Also, the Rapids, if they do drop back a little bit more, need to pick their spot and how they're pressing. They need to press almost immediately, try to get quick opportunities on FC Dallas's own side, because if you get the ball, if you also allow too many opportunities to hit Zach, hit Lawless, or hit Maxu, there is more room for error. So it's going to be really important for the Rapids to press and have key moments of press, but also defensively for them to be stout, be ready, and Ronan to have the ball at his feet, get the play going, because it's going to be transition football for the Rapids.
Yeah.
Don't expect this back and forth kind of slow-paced game where you have 4 or 5 opportunities each side in 5 minutes, and then it slows down, and you have this Ronan trying to set up. I expect it to be a little bit more Rapids kind of getting hit with a lot of balls, and then them trying to get the counter as quickly as possible. And it just comes down to, you're down Sammy, you need a little bit more help defensively, and these guys are exhausted. So I think you're just trying to get through this game and try to get at least a draw.
Look, Ferreira, Musa, those guys know how to find the goal, right? Even if Musa hasn't had a great season, he knows how to find the goal.
The talent's there.
Right? Talent's there. You put Ferreira up there. Now there's some gravity pulled off of Musa, and it just complicates the matter just a little bit more. And look, against some real good goal-scoring teams, the Rapids have given up a lot of goals. 4-0 to LAFC, 4-0 to Portland. Now you're going to a team that's not as good as those teams, but is fighting for a playoff spot, right? The Rapids aren't fighting for a playoff spot. They're fighting for a home playoff spot, but they should be in the playoffs based on how they've played for the first 2/3 of the season. This is no joke. This is not an easy game. Nope. It's never an easy game, and it's harder now that they're healthy and together and maybe finding form. Duane, you hate Dallas.
I do. I hate FC Dallas ever since the Dylan Cerna high cleats. I think Dylan Cerna was never the same after that show.
Wow.
And so I blame FC Dallas every day for that.
That's your Joker origin moment?
That is the villain origin story of why I hate FC Dallas, and that was forever ago. But they'll always be dirty players to me because of that moment. I think the key thing is what you said, Mitch, about this is a healthier team now. Their midfield is better. It's come together. Everyone's saying, well, look how good they've been lately. Okay, they beat DC.
Sure.
And DC had a red card.
Sure.
All right, so let's be a little realistic about it.
DC, not good.
if anybody loses to DC and DC has a red card, you should your club should fold. But this is, again, I don't think this team is as good as the Rapids. It's not going to be just a show up and win. They are going to have to fight for this win. But this is, again, going to be one of those handful, very few games during the final stretch against a team that should be beatable that we have to win. And this is one of those teams. I think the weather is going to play a point. I mean, it's going to be very hot down there. D-Line's down there right now. He's been down there for like 3 weeks. And every day he sends me a message about how miserable and hot it is down there.
We need to get D-Line and the fellas over to the game on Saturday.
That would be dope. I don't know if D-Line will be back by then.
Well, it's there. So
duh.
So it's
I was like,
perfect.
oh yeah, let's take them to Dick's. So I don't know. There's weather. They're healed up. It's not going to be an easy win, but it is a should win. We should win this game.
Okay, real quick prediction. Go.
1-1. Roth scores.
A 3-1 Rapids win.
2-0 Hoffa Cole. Boom. Plug.
DNV Rapids on Twitter. Follow us there. Buy the new shirt. Buy it. Hot new offer. Full price, baby. Get it right now.
Please.
Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we really appreciate all the support, guys.
Yep. Thank you. Become a diehard.dnvr.com. You know all the fun stuff. Get behind the paywall, all that stuff. But more important than all of that, like Georgie says, up the pids.
We all silly like the mayor.